The Galactic Council chamber simmered with tension. Vorton, the council leader, addressed the assembly, his voice grave and unwavering. The humans are a formidable species, driven by an indomitable spirit. Ignore this warning at your peril. A hushed murmur spread through the gathered representatives of various alien species. Among them, Goran, the leader of the Zogar, stood unimpressed. He scoffed loudly, his voice cutting through the ambient noise. Humans? Primitive and weak. They are no match for the Zogar. Vorton's eyes narrowed. Do not underestimate them. Their resilience and adaptability have seen them through countless conflicts. Goran waved a dismissive hand. Stories and myths. We will crush them and expand our dominion. On the edge of the galaxy, in a quiet human colony, Jack Marshall sat in his quarters, cleaning his rifle. The mundane routine was a welcome respite from his years of service. Jack, a seasoned space marine, had seen too much bloodshed and now cherished the peace of this distant outpost. The sudden blare of sirens shattered the tranquility. Jack sprang to his feet, heart pounding. This is not a drill. The intercom voice crackled. The Zogar are attacking. Jack rushed out, rallying his team. Everyone, to your stations. We need to defend the colony. The colony, typically serene, erupted into chaos. Civilians scrambled for shelter while soldiers prepared for battle. Jack's team moved with practiced efficiency, setting up defensive positions and coordinating their efforts. The first wave of Zogar ships descended upon the colony, their sleek forms casting ominous shadows. Jack took command, directing fire and issuing orders with calm precision. Focus on the lead ship. We need to break their formation. As the battle raged, it became clear that the Zogar were not just attacking. They intended to obliterate. Jack fought valiantly, his team following his lead. But the Zogar's numbers were overwhelming. Amidst the carnage, Jack spotted a group of Zogar soldiers advancing on a civilian bunker. We can't let them reach those civilians, Jack shouted. He and a few soldiers broke off, engaging the Zogar in close combat. The fight was brutal, but Jack's experience and determination saw them through. They repelled the attackers, securing the bunker. In the aftermath of the skirmish, Jack's radio crackled to life. Marshall, we have intel on their plan. They intend to deploy a weapon that could destroy the entire colony. Jack's eyes widened. We need to stop that weapon. Gather what you can. We're going to infiltrate their command center. The team moved swiftly, navigating the war-torn landscape. They reached the edge of the Zogar encampment and took a moment to strategize. We'll need to be quick and silent, Jack whispered. Take out the guards quietly and plant charges on their weapon. One by one, they neutralized the guards, moving with the precision of seasoned warriors. They reached the weapon, a massive device brimming with ominous energy. Jack planted the charges, setting a timer. Let's move, people. We have 5 minutes. As they retreated, the ground shook with explosions. The Zogar weapon was destroyed, but the victory was fleeting. A second wave of Zogar reinforcements approached, and the team found themselves surrounded. Back at the colony, the destruction was severe, but the human spirit was unbroken. Jack's quick thinking and the team's bravery had saved countless lives, but the threat was far from over. The Zogar's determination to conquer was evident, and the humans would need to prepare for an even fiercer battle. Jack stood amidst the wreckage, his mind racing with plans. He knew they needed a stronger defense and perhaps even allies. As he looked out at the devastated colony, a message came through his earpiece. This is Talon of the Zogar Rebellion. We can help you stop Goran. The Zogar ships descended like predatory birds, their dark silhouettes blotting out the colony's serene skyline. Jack Marshall's heart raced as he rallied his team. Move out. We have to protect the civilians. The human colony, a peaceful outpost on the edge of known space, erupted into chaos. Soldiers rushed to their stations, while frightened families sought shelter. Jack's voice cut through the din, commanding attention and instilling a sense of urgency. Focus on defending the main square. We can't let them break through. The Zogar troops landed, their armored forms menacing as they marched forward with precision. Jack led his team into the fray, engaging the invaders with practiced efficiency. The air was thick with the sounds of gunfire and shouts, each burst of energy a desperate attempt to push back the alien aggressors. Jack's rifle kicked against his shoulder as he fired, each shot a testament to his determination to defend his home. His squad mirrored his resolve, holding the line against the overwhelming force. The Zogar were relentless, but Jack's team fought with everything they had. "Captain, we've got civilians trapped in the east sector," one of his soldiers shouted over the comms. "On it," Jack replied, motioning for a small group to follow him. They sprinted through the war-torn streets, navigating the debris and dodging enemy fire. Jack's mind raced with strategies, but his focus remained sharp. They reached the trapped civilians, a small group huddled in fear behind a collapsed building. "Stay low and follow us," Jack instructed, helping a mother lift her child. The group moved quickly, Jack and his soldiers providing cover fire. They navigated the ruined streets, every step a calculated risk. The Zogar pressed harder, their numbers seemingly endless. Suddenly, a Zogar soldier lunged at Jack from the shadows. Jack reacted instinctively, blocking the attack and countering with a swift strike. The alien staggered back, and Jack finished the job with a precise shot. His breath came in heavy gasps, but there was no time to rest. "Captain, we've intercepted a transmission. The Zogar have a massive weapon aimed at the colony," his second-in-command reported, urgency clear in her voice. Jack's jaw tightened. "We need to take it out. Gather everyone who can fight. We're going on the offensive." The team regrouped, battered but unbroken. Jack outlined their mission, his voice steady despite the stakes. "We infiltrate their command center and disable that weapon. It's our only chance." The path to the command center was fraught with danger. The Zogar patrolled the perimeter heavily, their vigilance a testament to the weapon's importance. Jack and his team moved with stealth, using the shadows to their advantage. Every step was measured, every movement deliberate. They reached the outskirts of the command center, pausing to assess the situation. "We take out the guards quietly. No alarms," Jack instructed, his eyes scanning the area. One by one, they neutralized the sentries, moving closer to their objective. The command center loomed before them, an imposing structure filled with the hum of alien machinery. Jack signaled for his team to move in. Inside, the air was thick with tension. They navigated the corridors, each turn bringing them closer to their target. Jack's senses were on high alert, every sound amplified in the silence. They reached the weapon, a colossal device pulsing with ominous light. "Plant the charges." "We don't have much time," Jack ordered. His team worked swiftly, placing explosives at critical points. The device's ominous glow reflected in their determined faces. "Charges set, Captain." 3 minutes on the timer, his demolitions expert confirmed. "Let's move out," Jack commanded. They retraced their steps, the countdown ticking in their minds. Just as they reached the exit, the alarms blared, and Zogar soldiers poured into the corridor. "Go. I'll cover you," Jack shouted, holding his ground. His team hesitated for a moment, then followed his order, racing towards safety. Jack engaged the approaching Zogar, buying precious seconds for his team. The ground shook with the force of the explosions. The weapon was destroyed, and the command center was in chaos. Jack fought his way through the confusion, joining his team outside. They retreated to a safe distance, watching the flames consume the enemy stronghold. Back at the colony, relief was tempered with exhaustion. The Zogar had been pushed back for now, but the threat remained. Jack stood with his team, their faces marked by determination and fatigue. "We did it, Captain," his second-in-command said, a weary smile on her lips. Jack nodded, his gaze on the horizon. "For now, but we need to prepare. This isn't over." As they began fortifying their defenses, a message crackled through the comms. "This is Talon of the Zogar Rebellion. We can help you stop Gorin." Jack Marshall studied the face on his comm screen, trying to gauge the sincerity in Talon's eyes. Talon, a Zogar rebel leader, had offered an alliance against Gorin. It was a risky proposition, but Jack knew their survival depended on seizing every opportunity. "We have a common enemy," Talon said, his voice steady. "Gorin's madness threatens us all. If we work together, we can bring him down." Jack's team gathered around, listening intently. Some faces showed skepticism, others curiosity. His second-in-command, Sergeant Elena Reyes, voiced the concern on everyone's mind. How do we know this isn't a trap? Talon leaned closer to the screen, his expression earnest. You don't. But consider this. Without our help, you stand little chance of stopping the next assault. We have the knowledge and resources you need. Jack exchanged a glance with Reyes. All right, Talon. We'll meet. But if there's any sign of betrayal, this alliance ends. The designated meeting point was a deserted outpost on the colony's outskirts. Jack, Reyes, and a select few waited, weapons at the ready. The silence was oppressive, broken only by the occasional rustle of wind through the ruins. A group of Zogar emerged from the shadows, led by Talon. He approached slowly, hands raised in a gesture of peace. We come unarmed, as agreed. Jack lowered his rifle, but kept his guard up. Let's talk. Inside the outpost, the two groups sat facing each other. The atmosphere was tense, but necessity pushed them to engage. Talon outlined Goran's plans, revealing the extent of his ambition. He intends to deploy another weapon, one far more destructive than the last. We must act swiftly. Reyes leaned forward, eyes sharp. And you can help us disable it? Yes, Talon replied. But we need to infiltrate his main base. It's heavily fortified, and only with combined efforts can we succeed. The infiltration plan took shape, blending human ingenuity with Zogar inside knowledge. Jack's team would lead the assault, with Talon's rebels providing crucial intelligence and diversionary tactics. As they prepared, Jack took a moment to speak with Talon alone. Why are you really doing this? What's in it for you? Talon's eyes were hard but honest. Goran's tyranny has cost us dearly. Many of us have lost families, friends. We want to reclaim our freedom and rebuild. Your victory is our chance for peace. Jack nodded, seeing a reflection of his own determination in Talon. Then let's make it happen. The night of the mission, the combined forces moved with silent precision. They approached Goran's base under the cover of darkness, using the terrain to their advantage. The base loomed ahead, its defenses imposing but not insurmountable. Jack signaled his team. Remember, speed and silence. We take out the guards and disable the weapon. No unnecessary risks. They advanced, neutralizing sentries with swift efficiency. Talon's rebels created diversions, drawing attention away from the main force. Inside the base, the corridors were a maze of alien technology and oppressive shadows. Jack's heart pounded as they neared the control room. Reyes and Talon flanked him, their movements synchronized. They breached the door, confronting a group of Zogar loyalists. A fierce firefight erupted, the confined space amplifying every shot and cry. Jack fought with ferocity, his mind focused on the mission. Reyes provided cover fire, her accuracy impeccable. Talon's combat skills were evident, his knowledge of the base invaluable. They reached the weapon, a massive device humming with ominous intent. Jack directed his team, placing charges at strategic points. Set the timers for 5 minutes. We need to be out of here by then. As they completed their task, an alarm blared. Goran's reinforcements poured in, the final showdown unavoidable. Jack's team formed a defensive perimeter, buying time for the charges to detonate. In the chaos, Jack spotted Goran himself, a towering figure of menace. Their eyes locked, and Jack felt a surge of resolve. He charged, engaging Goran in a brutal hand-to-hand fight. The clash was intense, both warriors driven by their convictions. Goran's strength was formidable, but Jack's determination and training gave him an edge. He managed to disarm Goran and deliver a decisive blow. The charges detonated, and the ground shook violently. Jack's team retreated, covering each other's escape. They emerged from the base, the night skylit by the explosion. The weapon was destroyed, and Goran's forces were in disarray. Back at the colony, there was a palpable sense of achievement. The combined effort had succeeded, but the war was far from over. Jack stood with Talon, the tentative alliance having proven its worth. "We did it," Talon said, his voice a mix of relief and determination. Jack nodded. "This is just the beginning. We've shown that together, we can win. Now, we prepare for the next battle." As the humans and rebels regrouped, a message came through. "Captain Marshall, we have intel on another weapon in development. We need to act fast." Jack Marshall stood with Talon in the command center, the flickering screens displaying the latest intel. The new weapon under development was a nightmare, capable of annihilating entire colonies. The stakes had never been higher. "We don't have much time," Talon said, his voice grim. "Gorin is accelerating his plans. We need to strike now." Jack nodded, his jaw set. "Gather everyone. We move out in 10. The combined human and Zogar rebel force advanced towards Gorin's base, their steps determined and purposeful. The night cloaked their movements, a silent ally in their daring mission. Jack's heart beat steadily, every sense heightened as they approached the enemy's stronghold. The base was a fortress, bristling with defenses. Jack signaled his team, their practiced precision evident as they took out the guards quietly. The shadows swallowed the sounds of struggle, leaving no trace of their presence. Inside the base, they moved swiftly through the corridors, Talon's knowledge of the layout proving invaluable. They reached the heart of the complex, where the weapon awaited. Its ominous hum filled the air, a reminder of the destruction it promised. "Set the charges," Jack ordered. His team worked quickly, placing explosives at critical points around the weapon. The countdown began, the seconds ticking away ominously. Just as they finished, the alarms blared. The element of surprise was gone. Gorin's soldiers poured into the room, and the battle erupted. Jack's team formed a defensive perimeter, their firepower holding the enemy at bay. Amid the chaos, Jack spotted Gorin. The Zogar leader was a formidable presence, commanding the battlefield with ruthless efficiency. Jack knew this confrontation was inevitable. He charged towards Gorin, their clash a whirlwind of strikes and counters. Gorin was strong, but Jack's determination fueled his every move. He fought with everything he had, knowing the future of his colony depended on this moment. Their fight was brutal, both warriors relentless. Jack managed to disarm Gorin, landing a decisive blow that sent the alien leader sprawling. But there was no time to savor the victory. The charges were about to detonate. "Fall back," Jack shouted. His team retreated, covering each other as they made their escape. The ground shook violently as the explosives went off, the weapon engulfed in flames. Back at the colony, the mood was a mix of relief and exhaustion. They had struck a critical blow against Gorin, but the war was far from over. Jack stood with Talon, their alliance stronger than ever. "We've dealt a significant blow, but we need to remain vigilant," Talon said, his eyes reflecting the weight of their shared struggle. Jack nodded. "Agreed. We've shown that together, we're a formidable force. But this isn't the end. We need to be ready for whatever comes next." As they spoke, a new message came through on the comms. "Captain Marshall, we've intercepted plans for another attack. We need to regroup and prepare." Jack turned to his team, their faces tired but resolute. "We've come this far. We're not backing down now. Let's get to work." The colony buzzed with activity as preparations began for the next battle. Jack walked through the bustling command center, his mind focused on the challenges ahead. He paused for a moment, looking out at the horizon. Reyes approached, her expression one of quiet determination. "We'll be ready, Captain. Whatever comes, we'll face it together." Jack smiled, feeling a surge of pride for his team. "We will, and we'll win. Because we have something they don't, a reason to fight that goes beyond power or conquest."